I surprised my kids and parents with VIP Disney World tickets. But on the day of the trip, my mother held the tickets and smirked. Your kids didn't deserve them, so I changed the names to your sister's children. My sister giggled. Thanks, sis. My kids are so excited. I quietly pulled out my phone, and the moment they tried to enter, their faces changed. As the summer sun began to rise, Melissa Thompson was checking her daughter's medications. She carefully opened the prescription bottles from the hospital and sorted a week's worth of pills into a small medication case while calling out, "Emily, breakfast is ready." On the kitchen counter, Emily's favorite blueberry pancakes were laid out. Melissa always tried to make weekend breakfasts extra special. A response echoed from upstairs, and soon after, 12-year-old Emily slowly made her way down the stairs. Behind her, 8-year-old Sophia bounded down energetically. Emily's color looked good, and her condition had been stable these past few weeks. "Sophia, no running on the stairs," Melissa gently admonished. For the past 3 years since losing her husband, she had been raising her 2 daughters alone. Working as a sales director at Sunbelt Insurance while managing Emily's rare disease treatment kept her constantly on the move. Still, seeing her daughter's smiles made every hardship worthwhile. It was their usual morning scene. Emily carefully cut her pancakes while Sophia asked, "Can I play with Jessica after school today?" Melissa sipped her coffee and replied, "After you finish your homework." Since Thomas's passing, she had come to deeply appreciate these ordinary morning moments. After Emily finished taking her medicine, Melissa said, "I'm heading out a bit early today. I have an appointment with Grandma." In truth, she was going to drop off VIP Disney World tickets with her mother, Barbara. She wanted it to be a wonderful surprise for the girls and hoped it might help improve her relationship with her mother. Barbara Wilson lived in an upscale Winter Park neighborhood with her wealthy husband, who ran a successful real estate business. A country club regular who never missed Sunday Methodist church services, she held conservative values and particularly frowned upon the term single mother. She often said, "In our generation, families stayed together no matter what." Melissa's sister Rachel was the apple of their mother's eye. Now a mother of 10-year-old twin boys, Jack and Ethan, she lived in Winter Park like their mother and served as PTA vice president. Her husband Michael was a successful lawyer and a devoted family man. He always spent holidays with the children and was, in Rachel's words, the perfect husband. Mother had always doted on Rachel while being critical of Melissa. "Being a single mother looks terrible," she would say, or, "Aren't you being too lax with your parenting?" Such comments were often followed by financial assistance directed solely to Rachel's family. Even at Christmas, while Rachel's family received mountains of expensive presents, Melissa's daughters were given modest cards with the explanation, "This should be enough." Recently though, Emily's condition had stabilized temporarily, and her doctor had given the green light for travel, saying, "It's possible now." Thanks to years of treatment, she was responding well to new medication and could lead an almost normal daily life. Melissa had booked VIP Disney tickets with special medical accommodations. It was supposed to be the perfect memorable experience for the whole family. Staring at the tickets, Melissa thought this might be a chance to restore family bonds. She wanted her mother to embrace her role as a loving grandmother. Through Emily's illness, she hoped her mother would realize what truly mattered. With these thoughts, she drove toward her mother's house. The Florida morning in late July was already humid. Families were beginning to line up in front of Walt Disney World's main entrance plaza, waiting for the park to open. In the flower beds leading to Magic Kingdom's entrance, Mickey-shaped petunias of various colors bloomed brilliantly in the morning mist. At 9 a.m., Melissa waited at the meeting spot with her daughters. Emily wore a white sundress with a straw hat, while Sophia was dressed in a light blue Disney princess dress. Both girls gazed up at the castle spires with excitement. Melissa finished yet another temperature check, confirming Emily's condition. "How are you feeling? Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm fine. I can't wait to go in." Emily's voice held an excitement rarely heard from her. During 3 years of treatment, she hadn't even been able to visit amusement parks with friends. How long she must have waited for this day. That's when Barbara appeared. Her blonde hair was styled more meticulously than usual, wearing what appeared to be a summer dress from an expensive boutique. There was something smugly satisfied in her profile. "Good morning, Melissa, Emily, Sophia." Barbara's voice carried an unusually high pitch. Surprisingly, Rachel appeared behind her with the twins, and even Michael had managed to come despite his work schedule. Rachel wore the latest designer sunglasses, while twins Jack and Ethan sported matching superhero t-shirts. "Oh, everyone came?" A hint of confusion mixed in Melissa's voice. Her mother hadn't mentioned anything when she had handed over the tickets. "Yes, let's all enjoy it as a family," Rachel answered with what seemed like a knowing smile. Michael looked somewhat confused as he checked his phone. He was supposed to have an important meeting in the afternoon. Why was he here now? Had his wife told him something? The crisp morning air gradually grew heavy. Barbara clutched the envelope containing the tickets preciously, as if harboring some special secret. "Everyone, gather round." Barbara pulled out the envelope triumphantly. Her gesture hinted at some hidden agenda. "Mom, what about the surprise for the children?" When Melissa spoke up, Barbara twisted her lips into a smile. "Yes, it's a surprise, but I made some changes." Rachel put her hands on the twins' shoulders, giggling. "Children, Grandma has good news." Her voice carried a somewhat victorious tone. Around them, families continued to gather. Children wearing Mickey ear headbands, tourists munching on cinnamon rolls for breakfast. Everyone was looking forward to the start of a fun day. Yet around Melissa's family an unnatural tension hung in the air. Just as they were about to present their tickets in the entrance line, Barbara spoke up with an expression as if settling an old score. "Actually, I changed the names on the tickets. Not for your children, but for Rachel's children." Those words cut through the morning air. "Thank you, Mom. The kids are just thrilled." Rachel's voice rang out unnecessarily loud. Melissa slowly took out her phone. The screen displayed her pre-booked digital tickets, VIP tickets with special medical accommodations. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. She was clearly trying hard to hold them back. This special day she had looked forward to for months, the day that was supposed to reward her for enduring treatment. Sophia, being the younger sister, squeezed her sister's hand tightly. Though still young, she seemed to sense the gravity of the situation. The twin boys looked confused. Jack asked his mother, "Mom, what's going on?" But Rachel brushed it off with "I'll explain later." Michael, returning from a work call, sensed the situation. His expression darkened. "What's going on here?" Barbara waved her hand elegantly, declaring, "Just a minor change," as if her actions were completely justified. Rachel sided with her mother. "I think Mom's decision is right. After all, Emily's not feeling well, is she?" At those words, Emily's shoulders trembled slightly. Melissa took a deep breath and said as calmly as possible, "Well then, shall we head to the entrance gate?" In the tense atmosphere, the group began walking toward the departure lobby. Near noon, Magic Kingdom's main entrance was overflowing with tourists. Under Florida's scorching sun, the serpentine line twisted and turned. Children's excited voices, smartphone camera shutters, and cheerful music from speakers all blended together. Emily stood quietly in line. Usually, the heat would make her feel ill, but today she was desperately enduring it. Sophia held her sister's hand, occasionally peering at her face with concern. "It's so hot." Barbara wiped her forehead with an expensive-looking handkerchief. She still gripped the envelope with the tickets. Rachel kept taking photos of the twin boys standing in front of her, while Michael checked his phone, clearly preoccupied with work matters. Finally, they reached the entrance gate. A young cast member holding a smartphone greeted them with a smile. Her name tag read Jessica. Barbara stepped forward proudly. "We have VIP tickets." Her gesture of removing tickets from what looked like a boutique envelope carried an obvious air of superiority. Jessica began checking the system. Then, her expression clouded slightly. "I'm sorry, but these tickets show as already being used digitally." The color drained from Barbara's face. "What? Please check again." "These are legitimate tickets," Rachel hurriedly interjected. "This must be a mistake. These are the tickets Mom reserved." At that moment, Melissa quietly stepped forward. She took out her smartphone and displayed the screen. "These are the legitimate tickets. VIP tickets with medical accommodations that I reserved 3 months ago." Michael began to understand the situation. "I see. These were special tickets with medical accommodations. For Emily's treatment." People around them began to sense what was happening. Mothers with children cast sympathetic glances at Emily. Barbara and Rachel's faces gradually turned red. Just then, another cast member appeared. Her name tag read Judy. She approached the group with a warm smile. "Please wait a moment, everyone. We'll handle this as a special situation." Judy's voice carried the assured composure of years of experience as a cast member. The group was led to a back room. In the air-conditioned room, Judy carefully assessed the situation. Melissa began explaining. "My daughter Emily has been undergoing treatment for a rare disease for 3 years. Finally, her condition stabilized, and her doctor gave permission for travel." While showing the diagnosis and treatment progress saved on her phone, Melissa continued. "These VIP tickets include special medical accommodations, priority access to first aid stations, standby medical staff, wheelchair-accessible FastPass, and even emergency transport services if needed." Judy listened intently, nodding deeply. She occasionally checked information on her dedicated tablet and took notes. "By trying to change the reservation, your mother and sister almost prevented Emily from receiving necessary medical services." Judy's voice was gentle, but her words carried weight. Barbara and Rachel's expressions froze. Michael looked at his wife and mother-in-law sternly. The twin boys, seeming to grasp the seriousness of the situation, moved closer to Emily. "Grandma, why did you change Emily's tickets without asking?" Ethan's innocent question cut through the heavy atmosphere. Judy checked her tablet again and offered a warm smile. Don't worry. We'll handle this specially according to Disney's guest service recovery policy. She efficiently began arranging additional tickets. In another back room, coordination with the medical response team had already begun. Our wish is for all children to create wonderful memories. I sincerely hope we can deliver special magic to everyone today. At Judy's words, the room's atmosphere gradually softened. Regret appeared in Barbara's eyes for the first time. Rachel cast apologetic glances at her nieces. Thank you so much, Michael said with sincere gratitude. His voice seemed to carry hope for the family's future. In a corner of the room, Emily and Sophia had started talking with the twins. The children's innocent laughter would eventually begin to melt the walls between the adults. The warm air conditioning breeze announced the start of a new day. Outside the window, Cinderella Castle sparkled in the morning light, as if watching over the beginning of this family's new chapter. The special reception room in Magic Kingdom's back room was a quiet space separated from the park's bustle. Surrounded by walls adorned with Walt Disney's photos and early Mickey Mouse sketches, the group sat at a round table. The comfortable air conditioning gently eased the tense atmosphere. Judy distributed lemonade to everyone and discreetly stepped out. With 40 years of experience as a cast member, she knew this moment would be crucial for the family. A moment of silence followed. The children were in another room, enjoying Disney character coloring books with a dedicated cast member. Their laughter faintly filtered through. Let me speak, Melissa quietly began. Since Thomas passed away, every day has been a battle. Her voice trembled slightly, as if holding back deep emotions. Working as an insurance company's sales director while managing Emily's treatment, going back and forth between hospitals and work all day, sometimes calling ambulances in the middle of the night for fevers. But during those times, Melissa took a deep breath and looked at her mother. Mom, you always said things like being a single mother looks bad, or if you tried harder, you could find a better treatment center. Always just those kinds of words. Barbara's hands trembled slightly on the table. What I wanted wasn't just advice. I wanted your love, Mom. What Emily and Sophia wanted was the warmth of a normal grandmother. A tear rolled down Melissa's cheek. These Disney tickets. I entrusted them to you because I thought it could be a chance to repair our relationship. Michael quietly interjected. Let me say something too. His expression was more serious than his usual gentle demeanor. Yes, our family is financially blessed, but that's no substitute for love. What children really need isn't material luxury. Regret appeared in Rachel's eyes for the first time. The support she had taken for granted from her mother, she was finally realizing how it had hurt her sister's family. I'm sorry. Rachel's voice trembled. I only thought about myself. The children's toys, brand name clothes, expensive lessons, but Emily's illness. At that moment, Barbara slowly stood up. Michael supported her as she swayed slightly. Melissa. I was wrong. Barbara's voice was weaker than they had ever heard it. I was so focused on pride and appearances, I couldn't see what really mattered. Large tears fell from her eyes. Emily's illness, your struggles, I pretended not to see any of it, because I didn't want to admit it. I was afraid of my perfect family image crumbling. Barbara walked unsteadily toward Melissa. Please forgive me. Mother and daughter shared their first true embrace after so long. Rachel joined them, their tears mingling together. Then the children returned. Emily and Sophia, Jack and Ethan. They held a huge family picture they had drawn together. Look, it's a picture of our family. Emily proudly held up the drawing. It showed Grandma, Mom, Aunt, Uncle, and cousins, all holding hands in a circle. Judy quietly opened the door and entered with a smile. Everyone, I've prepared something special. She unfolded a map. It showed a special route designed with Emily's condition in mind. Everything was carefully planned, from fast pass times to rest points and first aid station locations. I hope you can all create wonderful memories today. At Judy's words, the room filled with warmth. Outside the window, Cinderella Castle sparkled in the morning light, as if watching over the beginning of this family's new chapter. Looking at the picture the children had drawn, Barbara quietly made a vow. From now on, she would be a good grandmother in the true sense. She would face her family with genuine love, not appearances or pretense. Michael took out his phone and called his company. I'm spending today with my family. A simple statement, but it carried deep resolve. Hours after the morning's confusion, in this special room, the family was beginning to discover new bonds. In Orlando Children's Hospital's waiting room, soft autumn sunlight streamed through the windows, gently illuminating children's drawings on the walls. Emily returned from her examination to the waiting room. Her expression showed unprecedented brightness. Emily, how did it go? Melissa sat close to her daughter. Emily nodded with a smile. The doctor said I'm doing much better. Barbara approached with coffee. Since the Disney incident 3 months ago, She had been accompanying them to weekly checkups. Her expensive brand-name clothes had given way to a warm hand-knitted cardigan. "Oh, that's wonderful." Barbara gently stroked her granddaughter's head. Her gesture showed no trace of her former affected manner. In one corner of the waiting room, Rachel was talking with a girl in a wheelchair. Since the Disney incident, she had started volunteering to support children with disabilities. Every Tuesday and Thursday, she would visit the hospital between work hours, making it her routine to play with children in the waiting room. "Emily, look what we made." Twins Jack and Ethan ran up with their drawings. Drawing with the hospital children had become their joy. "Wow, that's so good." Sophia joined in, and the children became impromptu art teachers in a corner of the waiting room. "Things have really changed," Melissa murmured. Her eyes held a warm light as she looked at her mother. Barbara heaved a deep sigh. That day, watching Judy's response, I realized something. The importance of showing kindness to others. That there are things more important than appearances and what others think. She glanced toward the nurse talking with the hospital's volunteer coordinator. "I'm starting volunteer work here next week." Tears welled up in Melissa's eyes. "I've learned in these 3 months. True love isn't about money or social status. Emily's smile, Sophia's kindness, and your strength. That's where my pride should have been." Rachel joined them, and the three embraced. Other patient families watched with warm gazes. "Oh, a message from Michael." Rachel checked her smartphone. "He says the Christmas vacation reservations are confirmed." The whole family was planning to visit a ski resort in Colorado for Christmas. They had chosen a low-altitude resort considering Emily's condition and had already coordinated with medical facilities. "Emily, aren't you excited about skiing?" Barbara smiled at her granddaughter. "Yes, the doctor said it's okay. But you know what? I'm more excited about drinking hot chocolate together with everyone." The adults couldn't help but smile at Emily's innocent response. Just then, the waiting room door opened, and a familiar face appeared. It was Judy. After retiring, she too had started volunteering at the hospital. The children ran to her. Judy gently embraced each one. "I have special news today." Judy took out an envelope. It was an invitation to the hospital's charity event. "We're planning a special show for the Christmas season. Of course, we'd love to have all of you participate." Barbara and Rachel immediately showed their support. Both had already become actively involved in various hospital activities. Melissa also volunteered to handle fundraising, putting her work experience to use. "I think we'll make a wonderful team." Everyone nodded at Judy's words. Outside the window, Orlando's cityscape gleamed in the autumn sunlight. On the waiting room wall hung the new family picture Emily and the others had drawn. It showed everyone they had met, hospital staff, volunteers, and all the people they had encountered, everyone holding hands in a big circle. "Hey, Grandma." Emily snuggled close to Barbara. "You know what? I want to become a doctor when I grow up. I want to help sick children." Barbara gently embraced her granddaughter. "You can definitely do it." Melissa quietly watched the scene. The incident at Disney World 3 months ago had indeed been a painful experience, but without it, perhaps they wouldn't have found this happiness. Family shapes sometimes change in unexpected ways, but sometimes those changes can create new bonds. Melissa now truly believed this. In the warm atmosphere of the waiting room, their new family story continued to unfold, quietly but surely.